Dr. King was alive today, he'd say he had a nightmare. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 250 of the O The Anthem podcast. We really should have done something special.
You know.
A theme amongst the podcast.
Much like the show always. It's, we just went, oh, hey, today's 250. So thank you for sticking with us for 250 consecutive episodes.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate that.
So, welcome to episode 250 of the O The Anthem podcast, broadcasting to you from the #OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, California. And thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for subscribing on your podcatcher of choice, rating on iTunes and anywhere else where you can possibly rate. All those things appreciated by us.
And of course, you can find more O The Anthem at O The Anthem on Instagram and Twitter. You can find more at facebook.com/O The Anthem, where you're hopefully watching this live right now. And of course, you can, if you're listening to this on your podcatcher of choice later in the week, you can give us a call on the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's the number again?
That's 443-219-7595, where you can let us know what you think about the episode. And finally, youtube.com/O The Anthem and OTheAnthem.com for all of the other stuff that you want to be interested in.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So, kicking off the top today with a little sports. Yeah.
Hooray for sports ball.
So, I was hoping once the Ravens were out of it a few weeks ago, we could just let this all go. But a pesky LA team stays
Apparently
involved.
they decided to have a Super Bowl this year.
The
Ravens were eliminated, so now we got to talk about
it. And there's an LA team in it, so I think there's a measure of still investment. I mean, if it was the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons, because it was in Atlanta, that'd probably be involved. But if it was the, I don't know, Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys, would you care?
Well, that would again be another NFC.
Yes, yeah.
If it was the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys, would I care?
Yes.
No.
Right.
But I mean, I would still
played in London. The only way the Jaguars win that.
The only way the Jaguars play.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be interested in the game. It's not like I'd be spending the whole 2 weeks listening to all the insight and stuff like that.
Right.
I probably wouldn't. But I wouldn't be as excited about the game, but I'd still watch it. And that's sort of how I feel right now. I'm excited for the game. I'm not super excited for the game, but I'm going to watch it. And we spoke some time back about picking your second team, the LA team that you would follow here, because there's options in a lot of these choices. And I'd sort of picked the Rams out of default just because I wouldn't want to root for the Chargers.
The Spano-owned Chargers?
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like the Rams are that much better. And I really do feel like LA fans are very fickle about the Rams. Just because they couldn't care less about this team.
Yeah, they're going to be real fickle in 2 weeks when they lose the Super Bowl too. That's going to be problematic for everybody in LA.
I'm just saying, if the Rams win the Super Bowl, there's going to be more people at the Super Bowl parade than there were at any point during the season.
Yes.
At the actual stadium.
Yes.
I mean, when they played the Cowboys at the Coliseum 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, apparently it was 50-50 between the Rams fans and the Cowboy fans. And I get there's a lot of Cowboy fans in LA, but if you're a serious football team, you just got to sell out your stadium. There's no,
Again, when would that ever happen in Baltimore?
Oh, where it wasn't 95% Ravens fans?
Yeah, or the only tickets that you would get that the other team could get were the ones that were specifically held for the other team to sell to their season ticket holders.
Right. And then usually some of those get returned.
Yes.
And then
more Ravens fans buy tickets. Yeah, that's how that works. So I mean, I get that. I think that again, I'm only invested because the Rams are still in it. I think that all things being equal, Brady being who he is and Goff being who he is, I still think the Patriots are going to do what they do.
I'm just so
this has got to be it though, right? 17 years has got to be it.
Yeah. So just as a note, as of yesterday was 17 years since the Patriots won their first Super Bowl over the Rams.
Yes. But the St. Louis Rams at that point.
St. Louis Rams.
Yes.
Part of the finicky history of the Rams. I don't know. Half of our lives has been dedicated to Tom Brady going to the Super Bowl year after year.
Yeah.
And I'm really I was sick of it before. I'm just like completely like against the whole thing now. Like,
here's the thing though, one man winning 6 Super Bowls sounds like a lot. And so you're like, 17 years though. 17 years, like I guess it's still a lot given that it's 17 years, but
think of it this way: in the AFC since 2000, so
Yeah.
in this millennium, we have had 4 quarterbacks who've been in the Super Bowl for the AFC.
yes, Joe Flacco, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. No, NFC.
AFC. Big Ben.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They had 06.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
2 from the AFC North.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Manning, who's not around anymore.
Wait, no. So wait, that was when the early 2000s when Indy was in the AFC,
Mm-hmm.
right before they shifted over to the.
No, they were in the AFC the whole time.
Are they in the AFC now? Oh, they're in the South now. That's right.
They changed up the divisions.
That's right.
Yeah, when they added in Houston and right. Whatever.
Because we never played them, but I feel like they were weirdly in a weird place.
We used to play them a lot more, it seems.
Yeah.
And now we don't play them as often.
Oh, they're in the South though. Yeah.
When it used to be like the Central.
Yeah.
I think we played them more. But I can't quite remember. It's so funny, like how quickly you can forget things like what the divisions like.
Yeah. There was 3 though, right? It was Central, East, West, Central.
East, West, Central.
Yeah. And then they went to East, West, North, South.
Yeah, and they did the 4 teams instead of 5.
Yeah.
So I can't even remember who was in the AFC East that isn't there anymore. It seems like so hard to Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, Jets. And then who was the other team? I can't even. Because I know the Steelers and Browns and Ravens were all in the division together with the Jaguars and Oilers. Was it Colts in the East? Yeah, probably the Colts.
Maybe the Colts.
In the East,
yeah, because they would have formerly been Baltimore.
Yeah.
And they went to Indy, but they stayed in the East.
Yeah. It's so crazy how you can forget that. It's like I had that ingrained in my mind for years and years and years, and then it's just like you go to a new setup and you're just like completely forget everything.
Yep.
Sort of like hockey too, because they changed it up more recently, where they added like the Metro division and stuff like that. And I still don't even quite get it. Like I feel like ever since the strike, many years ago,
Just trying to figure it out.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Ooh.
I got lost.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We are 10 minutes in. I wonder how far we would have gotten before you hit the red button. Hey, now we're recording.
All right. You know what happened before? Right before we started, we were having technical difficulties with my my launch control here, and that got lost in the shuffle.
So if the audio sounds way better now, that's because everything after this point was not pulled from Facebook, but directly.
No, it would have been pulled from the video. I think it'll be okay.
Okay, I'm sure we'll be
I don't
fine.
think anybody will notice.
I'm sure we'll be fine. Anyway, so 2 weeks now until the Super Bowl, right? Pro Bowl will be this week in Hawaii.
Yes.
Because they're not doing that stupid thing where they do it in the same city as the Super Bowl just the week before.
Right.
Do you remember that? That was like 3, 4, 5 years ago? Maybe more.
No, they did. They did it somewhere that wasn't Hawaii once, I think, and then
it was the city where the Super Bowl was, but it was just a week in between. It was to like help that city make more money by giving them 2 weeks of action.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I really don't care for All-Star games at all, but especially the Pro Bowl. It just seems so worthless and
Nobody cares. Yeah. It's the most dangerous game, the one where there's more likely to be injuries than any other.
Yeah.
So nobody cares. Nobody goes full force. It's like linemen stand up and just like pat each other on the shoulders.
It's like when I used to play like pickup football with the guys over at Honeygo Park.
Yeah.
And like you get winded after like 5 or 6 plays.
Yeah.
And then you like look across to the guy next to you and you're just like, I'm not gonna try this time.
And he's
just like, thank you.
Bunch of 40-year-olds.
We both just sort of like jog along. He just keeps like a hand on me. I'm just like, just making sure you don't break out all of a sudden.
Bunch of 40-year-olds or 25-year-olds playing football. Anyway, so Super Bowl in 2 weeks.
That's also what I get for smoking while playing. Like,
you gotta quit that. You gotta quit that. It's a bad habit. Super Bowl in 2 weeks. We'll be having a party here at the apartment complex of one place or another, I suppose. So for me, it's like we get drunk on a Sunday and watch football and eat food Can't beat any of those things. Those are all good things.
Yeah, I mean that's a good enough reason to have a party is the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I mean, like I even when the game is lame, I feel it's fun to have the party.
Yeah.
And it being downtown will allow us to get right to whatever celebration is happening
Or
ASAP.
if they start burning the city down, we'll be able to see it coming.
Be able to watch from the rooftop.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It's sort of the benefit of having a place that looks like a fortress, like an apartment complex that feels like a little like.
We just watch it all go down.
I feel like this would be a great place for like the zombie apocalypse.
It would not. It would not.
No?
Unfortunately. No.
What do you say?
We can get into it. We can get into it if you want. It's just. It's not very different. There's too many locations that get you down to the street. It's. I mean, you would think of it as remote access, but think about the fountain and the steps in the fountain. And they're in the building.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Climb that little gate at the fountain, and they're in the building.
Well,
They breached the perimeter.
yeah, but all the way up at the top,
do
and
you
then they'd have to get over that thing's like 15 feet tall.
They have to get over the 6 foot
I don't
fence
think.
at
I don't
the
know
top
if you've
of the
been. I don't
stairs.
know if you've been listening to the president recently, but walls fix everything. I
Oh,
don't know
well,
if you.
yeah, in that case, we have the most secure building in the world because we have a fence around it. So
Yeah, nobody's ever gonna get.
never gonna happen. But I
Zombies certainly don't know how to tunnel. That's
Yes.
way past them. Never see anybody in The Walking Dead digging a hole. So.
But luckily, after this, after the game in 2 weeks, we will have blessed break for 6 weeks till pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah.
And then we'll be disappointed by yet another Baltimore team for.
I'm still putting money on the O's
For 200
I'm
days,
still figuring it. I'm gonna go around the sports books. I'm gonna see who has the best odds.
Yeah, a lot of wasted time.
Put on
A
an
lot of
AL
wasted
pennant one.
I mean, honestly, you could just put it on 100 wins, and it's still probably wasted money. I don't know if they're gonna make it there from 47. So
Listen, it wouldn't have been the stupidest waste of $20 in Vegas.
no. I mean, I've dumped money into a Lord of the Rings machine as well. So what do you want me to do? But yeah,
I still love that. Just all I did, I just once like had my hand on Roberto and he won big, and he's just like, you have to have your hand on me the whole time. I can't.
and but ignores the 10 losing hands in between. Wins again. He's like, see, this is what happens. I'm like.
This is how it works.
Never go to the high stakes table. You are a mark. You are a total mark. Anyway, so
I can just see Roberto now, like at the poker table, like looking at his cards, going, like, what do I have to do? Like, what's the minimum here again? Okay, yeah. Call.
shake his head. All in. All right.
Whatever you say.
What is that?
We already played the music out, but we didn't talk about any of the controversies of the game here.
Yeah, we are already pushing time, so we.
Well, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I'll
Also,
do
I
this.
don't care about the controversies.
I'll do this quick. Yes, it was a blatant pass interference in the Saints-Rams game, but that game was very poorly officiated all over the place.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that referees should be able to review. I think there should just be one referee who sits in like on the sideline.
Watching TV.
Have you ever seen like Booger McFarland's like little setup
Yes,
on Monday Night
yeah, when he's
Football?
up-
Like,
up top.
he's like on a crane that just like moves like along with the camera and stuff. I think there should be one referee who has like a TV in front of him, and he's just sitting on a couch like on a thing that goes sideline to sideline.
He doesn't even-
And then if during the replay, like if they just go like, that looked like an obvious missed call from the referees, and he sees it, he's just like, oh yeah. And you can just throw the flag in before the.
Literally, he's
Yeah.
gonna be, but he needs to get the feed that they're sending out to the TV. No
Yeah.
special feed, just the feed
Right.
that they're sending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could have a thing where it's like you can review it, but the referees have. See, I think part of the problem is that like instant replay is great in getting it right, but there is a little bit of like I like it when referees have a missed call. Like you have to make sure you get them by a mile.
Yeah.
Like, because in baseball, it used to be like, there would be bang, bang plays at first. And then you'd look at the slow motion instant replay and see that the guy actually got there before the
Yeah.
ball.
Ty goes
But,
to the
like,
runner, though?
But it's like it's so quick. It's
Yeah.
like it's hard for the human eye to tell.
Yeah.
I think that if you slow it down to its base elements, then it's a lot easier to tell like whether or not the tag happened or whether or not there was like incidental contact or anything. They should, for like reviewing of penalties, they should just look at. And I've talked before about the like just look at this and make referees go look at a play just to like apologize to the
Yeah.
fans.
But-
And that would have been a great opportunity last night for that. You just throw the beige flag, and then John Payton just goes, just look at it. Just fucking look at it, and then get on the microphone and tell these people what you saw. And then the referee just comes out and he's just like, I made a boo-boo.
So, but I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I was basically thinking when I saw all the butthurt Saints fans yesterday. They put themselves in a position to lose on the last play of the game, or to be left with a tie on the last their last drive of the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you could have played a lot before that. I never get angry that the O's don't come back in the ninth because there was a lot of missed opportunities up and until the ninth.
Right. Yeah.
And just because
like
they didn't put up 9 runs in the ninth inning isn't a failure of theirs. It's they didn't play very well up and until then as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that to boil it down to one bad call is is a little bit much. But on the other side, I think that they should change the overtime rule so both teams get the ball regardless of whether you score a touchdown because it was just anticlimactic. I mean, like I was saying, I love baseball overtime extra innings just because
everybody gets a shot.
Yeah, and you know if you score 3 runs in the top, you get a chance to tie it up in the bottom. And those games where it like goes back and forth all the time are a lot of fun.
Would you prefer? I think it's maybe college doesn't even do this anymore, but college overtime rules where you get a quarter, play out the quarter.
Well, no, college was changed to what the NFL is doing now.
But they came to the NFL rules. But for a while, they kept their rules, which were play the quarter. If it ends in a tie, we play another quarter. But basically, it's baseball. You score a touchdown, I score a touchdown, we go to the next quarter. And then basically, it's not about how many times you touch the ball. It's we play quarters until somebody has more points.
I mean, like, I feel like just both teams should touch the ball. That's just a basic feeling I have, because then there's the opportunity too, like where, you know, if you're the first team that gets the ball in the overtime and you march down the field and you kick a field goal, then you can lose because the other team can score a touchdown,
Right.
Or you could continue playing if they get a field goal. So it like puts the emphasis on like going and scoring and like, trying to stop, you know, like.
See, I'm all about the if you feel like your drive is like just stopping any time else in the game, you're like, just get the points. Put up 3 and get the points. Let's play 15 additional minutes, get the 3, see if your D can stop them, and then get back on the field. Or if they score 7, great. Now we have to score a touchdown. Let's go back down the field and score again. And then that puts the onus on the other team. Are we going to go... Oh, and imagine OT, you've kicked a field goal, they've scored a touchdown. Now you have the ball back. And you score. Do you kick the field goal, or do you go for 2 and make them score another touchdown in OT? Come on, that makes games exciting.
Or I have an idea. How about for overtime and overtime alone, the clock is just running 15 straight.
Oh, I mean,
like,
yeah,
no, like
rules?
stopping the clock.
Soccer
like,
rules,
yeah,
and just play it out. And also, but like also, no. I'm not gonna say no delay of game.
I mean,
like,
other than timeouts, obviously, you can take a timeout and like stop the clock. And
you run out of bounds. No, like maybe like the pause where they get the ball back on the field, set it, and go.
Yeah. But I mean,
keep
like
it running.
Yeah, and just play it all the way through and see what happens.
Cut the play clock down from 40 to 16.
Well,
play it fast. Let's play it fast and loose. All right, that's just basically arena football, isn't it? Like no timeouts and 20 seconds to get a playoff.
I think I've just invented arena football.
Oh, wait and see though, because the Pot League and XFL, these may be rules that they have. I don't want to.
Well, you know, it's funny. We laugh at the idea of the Pot League and the XFL, but the XFL last time created a lot of things that became very important for the NFL after the XFL was gone.
Yeah.
So that whole camera behind the quarterback was like all the XFL. So
I was gonna say, I was arguing to people that when somebody brought up this story at work, like, oh, XFL again, here we go. And I was like, first of all, do you not remember He Hates Me? Mm-hmm. Like, a dude, literally, no one knew his name, but became famous for the words "He hates me."
His real name is Rod Smart, by the way.
Never would have known that. Never have any idea. I was like, but the other thing is, the NFL was forced to adjust, and the idea of having cameras on the field was the XFL, and the NFL said, wait. We got to give our people that same environment. Let's get a steady cam down on the field. Now, XFL was crazy because those cameramen would be in the huddle and then basically like make a break running backwards for the sideline as they're coming up to the line.
Right.
Like they're in the huddle with you like, blue 82 on 3, ready? And everybody's coming up to the line and he's like right in the quarterback's face. And he's like, and he
Book it out of there.
running backwards. It's like, wait, I hope blue 82 is not a reverse play this direction. I'm going to be caught in the play. But yeah, I think it's nothing but good to have competition. Unless it's Trump's USFL, then fuck it. And I'm glad it went under. But
Did you ever see the documentary on that, by the way?
yes, yeah. It's a scam just to make money, basically.
It's
so.
well worth seeing.
Yes.
They actually brought in the USFL sued the NFL at the behest of Donald Trump.
Yes. Insisted that they could win. Insisted to sue them.
Well, they said that it was a monopoly, so it was an easy win.
Sure.
And the judge said, yes, technically it is a monopoly, but you guys play in the spring and they play in the fall, and none of the games overlap, so it's not really a monopoly that affects you.
Yeah.
But because it is a monopoly, I have to give you a judgment. And they gave him a judgment of like $1.34 or something like that.
$1.
And in the 30 for 30 ESPN documentary, they had an interview with Trump prior to all the nonsense. And the guy, the filmmaker, actually had the check, and he's just like, have you ever actually seen the check that you guys want? And then Trump's like taking off the laugh. He's like, I'm done here. I'm done. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, by the way, millions of dollars in legal fees.
Yeah.
For a $1 settlement.
Yeah.
Or $1 judgment. So, yeah. Anyway, so that was it for sports ball. I wanted to say there was one thing I forgot I wanted to talk about this week.
Okay.
I have, over the past 6 months or so, been an advocate for public transportation. And I have tried to use it. I sent you a tweet that I posted this week. Or maybe last week. I think it might have been Friday. Probably Friday. On 2 occasions, I got fucked by LA Department of Transportation. And I just want to say, since I have a platform here to talk about it, you're not a big fan of public transportation as a whole.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I just think that I'm not a fan of when it's stupid.
Okay, like Baltimore's public transportation.
Yeah, I mean, like the New York City subway system, I think, is like the gold standard for what every city should be. I mean, and of the ones I know personally, I'm sure there's others in the world that are better, but especially faster and stuff like that. But I'm saying, like, as far as like as an infrastructure goes, New York's got it down. LA's problem is that it's just too like. There's no way to like. Say I have to go somewhere in North Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Okay, there is a metro stop somewhere kind of near North Hollywood, and I can
in North Hollywood.
Yeah, and
several.
I can get the metro to there, and then I can take an Uber the rest of the way or whatever, walk or whatever. But it's never like New York where you're kind of like 20 minutes away from a subway somewhere or another.
You're 10 blocks at max away from a stop that gets you on a subway that might be a roundabout, but you take that down 10 blocks and then take the cross city and then grab a different one to go down south and you're there.
Yeah. LA's is just too spread. And the fact that you can't even get to the airport is just like, I don't even, that should have been the first thing they thought of.
But I mean, the 2028 modifications for the Olympics, I think will make it nice. They'll have the 2 crosstown connectors between the yellow and the purple. It'll go to the airport, theoretically. I don't know how people will. I imagine it's also going to be the thing like, hey, we go to the airport, and it drops you off 2 miles away from the airport, and you have to grab a bus. So it's not really that much better.
Well, they're doing a people mover. So I think it's going to take you to like the airport area, and then you take the people mover the rest of the way. But the people mover is supposed to be like, you've flown into Dulles, right?
Yes.
So they have the same sort of people mover thing that like.
They get you to the opposite side of it.
It's like a minute and 20-second train or something like that, and it gets you to wherever you need to be. And it's fine. So
I don't know about all that. Nonetheless, though, I ran for a bus, which promptly drove past me as the driver looked out the door at me and then just continued on and did not stop. which was bad enough. So then I waited, and in true LA fashion, there were 3 buses within 3 minutes of each other, and then a 25-minute wait to the next bus.
Yeah.
Because that's how it makes sense. So I waited the 3 minutes, another one pulled up, and we stopped. And I got on, and I was like, whew. Luckily, there was 2 back-to-back. Isn't that great? And then we sat there. We sat there for 10 minutes. Because apparently they had all caught up to each other, and the last one in line was basically like ordered to like wait there so that you can develop like a little bit of a back
Cushion,
schedule.
yeah.
So that the one's not 25 minutes away, it's 15 and you're 10 and then you're up on time.
Right.
But that caused me to then have to get off that bus and run to my next bus. And I made it. And I got my card out, and I was standing there under the bus sign as the bus, not in the right lane, bus driver didn't look out the door at me, but just straight up in the far left lane, flew past me going the other direction. So I want to be a supporter of public transportation. Oh, by the way, tonight also, another bus drove right past me. I'm like standing in the cold. By the way,
LA cold.
LA cold. Real cold on the
It's
East
60
Coast.
degrees and windy.
A little windy, and it was 60, and I was pretty frigid. Not 5 below, which is what it is in New York.
Can't go back to the East Coast.
I like the weather out here, man. I can't go back to New Jersey, man. I like the weather out here too much. But yeah, I just realized, I'm like, yeah, it's like it was 68 degrees, and I was like, and the bus drove past. I'm like, you motherfucker, you left me out in the cold. But it's like I want to support public transportation, and also taking a Lyft is fucking $10 a trip, so it's like $20 a day.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. And I missed the bus this morning, so I had to take the Lyft this morning, and then to have it fly by me and me like check the thing, and it's like 45 minutes till the next bus. It's like fuck it, all right.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go take another Lyft.
I still remember in Baltimore when we were at Ridgely's Delight, and my car was in the shop for a week for any number of the stupid nonsense that was in the shop for.
Subaru.
Yeah. And I remember saying, like, all right, so it's going to take me 45 minutes to get from Baltimore to Cockeysville.
Yeah.
So I got to be there at 7, so I'll leave here at like 6:15. And then I got there at 6:15. I got on the light rail. I didn't get to work until like 7:45. I'm just like, all right, I ain't nobody's fool. So
I'm gonna leave an hour early.
I woke up at like 5:15 and got there and didn't show up till 7:45. And it was just like, fuck this whole thing. And then I showed up at like 5 or 4 a.m. and got on there. Didn't get there till 7:30. And I'm just like, all right, this system's just fucking broken. Like, I can't, like.
Yeah.
And like it also like because I remember so many people who were taking the light rail. I would talk to them about it. I was just like, they'd be like, "Yeah, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for my light rail to get down here." I'm just like, 4 o'clock in the morning? That's way too long. You don't need to. It's a 45-minute train ride. And then I started doing it for a week, and I'm just like, fuck this whole thing.
Yeah. It's 45 minutes when we take it on opening day because they're running trains every 9 minutes from the county in.
Well, and I think they get the lights all lined up and stuff like that. That was the biggest problem. Is I was just sitting at lights.
On a train.
Yeah,
You're on a train
like,
sitting at lights.
And that's the thing. You know, it's a. I think that it would be beneficial. You know about Dog Food Day, right? Do you know what Dog Food Day is?
No.
It's a unofficial like holiday, I guess you could say. Not holiday, but like an unofficial day on the calendar where all the major dog food brand CEOs will have a little press conference where they eat the dog food that they sell
right, to show that it's safe.
show that it's safe.
Yeah.
It's called Dog Food Day, and what I think that all the politicians should do is like when they set up a thing, just for 1 week you have to use the public transportation that you gave us. And just be like,
this
all
is
right,
fucking awful. You do this every day?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And just watch Pew get from like Roland Park to City Hall, going like, I had to take 4 buses to do this. This is ridiculous. City Hall should be a stop.
Yes,
It's
you're
just like,
right.
well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good. Or a train. You know, maybe not the same train that goes the same tracks. Different train.
Especially if it was like Hogan or something like that. And he's got to figure out some way to get to Annapolis. In public transportation, he's on like 3 different buses.
I mean, to be fair, the governor's mansion is across. It's the circle away.
Yes, but I'm saying like
from his other house. You mean?
Yeah, I mean, like
you know,
he's got to go from wherever he normally lives to make this thing work. You know,
where is he from? I feel like he's Howard County.
I thought he was Montgomery County.
Montgomery County, yeah. So you catch the metro out to get the Mark.
You
Mark
probably had to
train.
go into Baltimore
Yes, and then turn around
and then go to
take another
Anne Arundel.
train.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things would be a changing then.
Yeah, I just feel like if they had to do it for a week, they'd be like, "Oh, this whole thing's fucked up."
Yeah, we should do something about this.
Now I see why people complain all the time.
But yeah, all I'm saying is I want to be a proponent of public transportation. I like the idea of it. I like the idea that I'm sitting on a bus and there are 40 people. Like by the time I get on, I'm on the last stop in downtown on a commuter bus that's headed to Topanga Canyon or somewhere out that way.
Well, like the other thing too is that like. I know that this is part of a larger problem, but like it oftentimes, most often I'm taking the metro if I'm taking public transportation.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the metro, there's an 80% chance that there's going to be some crazy person who makes me feel uncomfortable on the train. And this isn't making fun of that person because they need help, and I'm not trying to like make fun of that situation. But there's also sort of like this lawlessness of the homeless and
In LA.
in stuff in LA where like I feel like a homeless person could go on a metro car and just like shit on the floor and then leave and nothing would happen.
Oh, no, everybody would leave at the next stop and just go to the neighboring cars. But that would
but
be
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, like there could be a cop sitting there and he could just shit on the floor and then walk out of the bus and just be like, "Officer," and then if I did it, I'd be arrested and like the number of times where it seems like they're again, I'm not trying to say that we need to lock up, you know, the homeless or anything like that, but I'm saying there needs to be some sort of like, you know, the point behind laws is that they're equal to everyone in principle. So,
and I only laughed at the beginning of your statement there because the last time we were on a train together with Rachel, I remember somebody got on there and started shouting political stuff, and she said, "I knew he was crazy as soon as he started talking." And you said, "I don't know. I'm pretty sure I heard Rob say some of that stuff earlier this week." And it wasn't untrue. It wasn't untrue at all. I said many of the things that the crazy homeless man who was shouting on the train, I was like, yeah, lower volume, maybe a little more articulate, but he's got a good point, I think. So I'm on my way there.
Hasn't had his hair did in a while, but other than that,
we're basically the same
Rob.
person. Yeah. So, but yes, I want to be a proponent. I'm just saying, can we improve the systems? Honestly, like I like being on a bus with 40 people, and I look next to me, and there's a guy by himself in a car, and I'm thinking like, if the 40 of you got together in one bus, there'd be no traffic.
Yeah.
We would all be riding together.
Well, as an aside, by the way, I've been hearing more and more talk from LA Metro that they're thinking about instituting congestion charges on the highways. Do you have thoughts about that?
I'm fine with it. Yeah. I mean, like, 66 in DC does that. And then at some points,
I mean, like, so I think the most famous version of it is in London. They have congestion charges all over the place, where basically, like, you have an easy pass like system, but
everybody has to have it.
Yeah, and it's like you know, it could be 60 cents to get into London that day.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem like a lot, but every single day you're driving 5 days a week, it adds up over the long run.
And 66 in DC does the opposite, where there are regular travel lanes that are backed up, and depending on the congestion, the cost of the express lanes goes up. And at one point, it was apparently $170 to drive it from Virginia into DC because it was literally backed up from the DC border all the way to Tyson's Corner. And it was like, you're about to save 3 hours. What's that worth to you? It's $170. Is it worth it? But apparently, there were people on the express lane.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, why not? It's DC, so I got it.
Just like the number of people I've seen like doing the Uber math where they're just like hammered coming out of a bar and they like look at it and they're just like, oh my God, this is gonna be an $80 Uber ride.
What am I gonna do though?
Like, well, I mean, it's still cheaper than going to jail and having my license taken away.
Right.
So I guess.
And I mean, the congestion charges. I think that the exceptions to those would be Uber and Lyft, right? Those drivers probably wouldn't have to pay, or taxis. I mean, honestly, it's a kind of thing where, like, if you are not,
I just
driving
imagine
your
our
car,
Ubers and Lyfts get more expensive.
I mean, probably
because they just work it into.
Probably. Maybe not that part. But again,
I mean, I would
wouldn't do
imagine that buses would be exempt.
Yeah,
like that.
so-
The ones that clearly show some sort of like carpooling effect.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
down
and
for
then
that.
if you put more carpool, like made like one carpool lane for every highway, and then just had the like 3 or more thing on that, then
Yeah.
that would save a lot of trouble too.
Oh, we have that here. I mean, not the 101, but basically everything else has the 2+.
Yeah, but it's so God, that's so weird too, because like it's like the 110 South, which I'm never on, or the 10 East, like past West Covina or something like it's like in the most awkward places.
Weird places.
Like,
But it's because those highways where they don't have enough traffic that they can shut down a lane and create the carpool lane. So anyway, we'll see. I'm just saying, do a better job, Ellie Dot. It's really. I'm looking at some of the ride sharing apps that they have in New York. There's a company that really just it rides minibuses up and down 1st, 5th, and 7th Avenue, and it costs $3.10 to ride the full length of the route that they take. So basically, you can just walk to 1st, 5th, or 7th, and then it's like every, I don't know, 10 blocks or whatever, they'll have a little place where they pull over.
yeah,
And if you're there, or if you choose on the app, it lets the driver know that, hey, next stop, pull over, drop somebody off, or somebody's in a truck that needs to get dropped off. And 310, you jump in, you jump out, and it just basically gets you down through Manhattan.
yeah. I mean, they were talking about doing a streetcar or something like that here in downtown LA.
I mean, again, it's something I'd be fine with. Just something you can
Or
jump
not like
on
a
and get off.
streetcar, but like something like that.
Yeah.
Where it just sort of like goes up and down Broadway and like around to like LA Live or something like that. But like, I don't know. It's a fine. I'm okay with the idea of you experimenting with the public transportation. My problem is that at the end of it all, when they're just like, hey, the streetcar is finally open. And I'm just like, oh, great. And they're like, it runs once an hour and it costs the taxpayers $800 million.
Yeah.
Hooray!
I remember
I'm just like, I feel like there's a better use of this money. Like
the Hofstra bus is what I'm thinking about. But there was like the Hamptons Junket. Do you remember that? Like,
Yeah.
It's a bus that just runs from the train station to the Hamptons, just like in the circle.
Right.
And why couldn't we do that downtown? Shut down street and say no vehicle traffic. The only way you can get anywhere around downtown is to jump on one of these many buses that
Or just circling around.
the circulator, but in LA, and it's like only
It's time for the circulator.
the only cars allowed on the street are the circulators.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be you missed that one. Sorry, there's another one 3 minutes behind it. Bam, 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 bam. And
It's funny. I didn't even think about it this way, but I don't think I saw the circulator running at all when I was home.
no, I think that the company that has them went bankrupt.
Oh.
Yeah, so they might be out.
That's a
completely.
shame.
Yeah, who would have thought a free bus?
Yeah, didn't make enough money.
Not supported by Pew, by the way. Also, she didn't like it. So
I liked it. It was a lot of fun for us when we were living there.
yeah, way easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, couple of topics. I'm gonna let's like real quickly. We watched both Firefest documentaries. I discount most of it because I found out before I even watched them that the people starring almost no crossover between either. There was really
Yeah.
only one guy who was in both. It was that the fake social influencer who has bought into his own bullshit.
Yeah. Who also like if you're trying to make a documentary about what's going on and you're doing the interview with the person who's like the victim of this kind of, I don't want him to know about like the intercompany drama.
Right.
Like I want to separate like the people who went to the concert and the people who organized the concert, because the one guy who was in both documentaries was just like all the time is just like, no, at this time the board of directors at Fire was very upset, and I'm just like, how the fuck do you know this? Like,
Well, because he was
it's
also
like he's also like going on the internet and like finding out all these
Right. I was gonna say he was the guy who was like, I want to figure out what's going on. So there was a guy who was like, I started a social media account to make fun of social media influencers, and then it's like, wait, but in your effort to make fun of them, you are going to the events.
You became one.
You're selling your posts. You are an influencer. How is this ironic anymore? Oh, it's ironic because I say that I'm making fun of them. I mean, nah, but you are one.
Yeah.
Though. You are one. He was in both. Everyone else was separate, though. And the important thing is that everyone who is in each documentary was benefiting from the documentary.
Yeah.
Like Billy McFarland, Billy Farland, whatever
Yeah.
it was. He was only in one of them, interviewed in one of them. He was a producer of that one and was paid
Not
for his
a
appearance.
producer, but he was paid for it.
Paid for it.
Yeah.
The other one, it was the Hulu one, where
Yeah.
everyone who appeared was an executive producer and was benefiting from it. And then the other one was organized by the guys at the social media company, which is Fuck Jerry. And they all appeared multiple times, and
Yeah.
they were essentially the production company that put together the documentary.
I think my big problem is that because they released 2 Fire Festival documentaries
Yeah.
the same day,
No. Hulu beat Netflix by 2 days.
is that the same week is that the person who honestly wants to make the Fire Festival documentary and isn't tied like business wise to the cause in any kind of way is not going to be able to make that documentary for a decade and a half now at the very least. And then by then, do we care about Fire Festival anymore because we're all living in our personal little igloos? Because
I mean, God hope Ja Rule's dead, and he's the only one that we really want to hate.
I've been kind of enjoying the Ja Rule Twitter commentary. Just like, y'all don't know what happened. I got receipts. I'm just like, can't wait, Ja.
Let's see him.
Can't wait to see what you got to say about this.
Oh my God, where's Ja? I need to know what Ja's got to say about this.
Here's the text message that I sent that morning to Billy going like, what the hell's going on with this concert? It's like, Ja, I want to believe you, but I can actually see the date. It's from today on the text message. So those ain't receipts. About a year and a half too late on those receipts.
In the end, the message of both documentaries was the people who benefit from it continue to benefit from it, and the people who got fucked over by it continued to get fucked over by it until the end. Although the good news is the caterer, who apparently paid everyone out of her own savings, had a GoFundMe.
I think I would. To me, the part of Fire Festival that I enjoyed so much when it happened at the moment was the rich kids who got
Being stuck. There's cheese sandwiches.
I feel like the better version of the Fire Festival documentaries would have been like sort of the Fire Festival, one of the Fire Festival docs that we got, plus a little bit of Queen of Versailles.
Yes.
Like where she's buying bikes and they have 19 bikes in the garage and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like, we got to watch our money. And it's just like, here's me buying 6 bikes.
I would have really liked to see the. There had to be like
there has to be like I just wanted like a supercut of like super vapid, clueless, like rich kid millennials, trust fund millennials going like, dude, it was supposed to be fucking awesome, and I got there, and it wasn't a private jet. It was just some fucking regular commuter plane that they slapped fire on the side of, and it was totally lame.
There was the one girl who was like, our private jet. This is like low economy. Yeah. Meanwhile, she's sitting in a jet that is all first class seats. They're all wide. And I'm like,
it was just a regular commuter plane. It was like
the seats looked very big for most of the planes I've been on recently.
Well, I mean, they probably bought this plane from old stock.
I mean, true, so. Yeah. It's got cigarette ashtrays in the arms. It's a different era.
It's an old Pan Am.
But yeah, no.
There's the guy scraping the Pan Am logo off of it and putting fire on.
Oh, well, actually, all they really have to do is like carve out the top and the bottom, and then it kind of looks like a flame, right? So, but I would have loved a supercut of not even just like they made you feel bad for the rich kids. Like the thing about, we got on the plane and they took us off the plane and all we wanted to do was go home and then they put us back on and they took us back off. And I was like, oh man, that really sucks. Like I've been in a situation where like you get stuck in the airport.
Yeah.
Don't make me feel bad for the kid who paid $90,000 for a villa that he never saw and didn't exist. I don't care about that kid. Yeah. I want to see the kid who is like.
I mean, that was the enjoyment everyone was having at the time.
Yes,
Is the rich kids getting screwed?
Good.
So I don't see why. I mean, the reason why is because both these documentaries have a very noticeable bias to them, and they don't want to make fun. They don't want to make fun of the people who like.
By the way, this day in history, you know what happened today in 1790?
No.
Dr. Guillotine unveiled his new invention to the French court. An easy and fast way to execute the condemned.
Pop-Tarts.
Yes, exactly. No. Madame Guillotine made her public appearance for the first time, and my life has benefited greatly since then. So when you talk about the rich kids, I would have really liked if Firefest turned a little more Lord of the Flies. That would have been really great. If there was like one kid there who's like, wait, so I have a ticket back out in 4 days. I have no more money. How am I going to get out of here? I'm just going to start murdering everybody. Build a guillotine and just start guillotining rich kids on the beach. That would have been really fun for me. Maybe not for everybody else, but for me. That would have been good. Anyway,
but then Ja wouldn't have been able to go like, nobody died at this stupid festival.
I mean,
I don't know why they're giving it such a hard time.
Yeah, the after thing
like,
of them.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty good, Ja, that nobody died at this
died.
thing.
Otherwise, we would all be in jail. So we should be happy nobody
Some
died.
bad press. It's not.
Yeah. Anyway, I would say that you should watch them. I thought they were interesting. I think it gave me a perspective that I didn't understand. One, I hope Billy McFarland stays in jail forever.
I mean, all of these documentaries basically seem to be out of existence, mostly just to say Billy fucked us both.
Yeah.
Here's what an asshole Billy was.
And I'm going to ignore that part of it. I'm going to make my declaration that I think
it'd be like if like 9 documentaries got released by all the people that got screwed over by oh God, what's his face? The Ponzi scheme guy in New York.
Oh, Bernie Madoff?
Bernie Madoff, yeah. It was just like 9 documentaries came out with all the people who got screwed by Madoff. And it's just like the whole documentary is about how Madoff's a big fat fucking jerk. And it's just like, yeah, we get it. You don't like him.
Yeah, we get it.
And it's totally understandable why you don't like him. I don't think you need to make a documentary to like prove to us that, I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine.
So
they were enjoyable still.
One other thing we've been hyping for a couple of weeks, and I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it. You have been wanting to talk about your presidential, what did you call it?
Podium?
Your presidential podium.
Yeah, my gold medal, or gold, silver, bronze.
Yes. Now, I do want to touch on the fact that we had someone new enter the race this week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, well, actually today, not just this week, today.
Yeah. Kamala Harris.
Your favorite. The one
Senator
you liked.
from California.
Yes, the one, your favorite politician.
Well, no, I will say this. A lot of these judgment calls on people like Kamala Harris and stuff like that are based off of what I see of them.
Sure.
And not necessarily, like, you told me some things before the podcast started that I didn't know about. And it has drastically changed my opinion of Kamala Harris.
By the way, I've been commenting all day on people's, like, support of her. And it's amazing how many people are like, hey, they all have mistakes in their past. I just like what she's saying now. I'm like, you realize that is literally what Trump voters said 2 years ago. That, I mean, he might have said that stuff in his past, but he's not lying to us now.
Yeah.
Now he's saying he's one of us. So now
well, I mean, like, with Kamala. So the problem that Rob was bringing up is that do you want to lead in this because you say it more eloquently than me?
Her history, for those of you who don't know, is that she was a prosecutor for a long time. She then worked in the Attorney General's office. I'm questioning. I thought she was Attorney General of California, but she might have just been working in the Attorney General's office of California.
No, she was state's attorney.
A state's attorney where?
California.
Wait, Attorney General of California.
No, state's attorney.
So she was
because Attorney General and state's attorney are different things.
She was attorney for the state.
Yeah, so she was in charge of filing all leading the office that would charge. I don't know. Something has. So I remember
a state's attorney is
somebody. It was somebody who was like the state's attorney or something like that. Got called up to, got pegged to be Obama's something.
Yes,
and then that's when she became state's attorney, I believe. Are you looking up her history here real quick?
Oh, and I just realized, sorry for everybody watching, because I totally forgot to put it in studio mode before I started typing. So, Kamala Harris, here we go. She was district attorney in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Attorney General of California.
Okay.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So state's attorney, same thing.
So it should say...
Oh, she ran and won.
Go up one.
Now this is some of the stuff I was talking about
yeah,
today. Okay, so here's the lesson that I learned upon some research today. Number one, she was a prosecutor in San Francisco, and during her time as a prosecutor, she, on the record, not like her record, not on the record, her record was that she charged for, or she followed through on trials for people of color far more often than she did for white people for the same crimes. And in fact, she saw more strict punishment for people of color than she did for white people for the same crimes. So basically everything we hate Jeff Sessions for, Kamala Harris was guilty of in the city of San Francisco. Now, her supporters generally came from all white areas. So what this kind of has been bleeding out to on Twitter and in the online space is, well, she may be black, or she may be a person of color, but in the end, she was just Uncle Tomming for all of the white people who were supporting her. And when they said, hey, we need to lock up more scary people of color, she said, great, we're going to lock up more people of color. And she basically just followed what they said.
I feel like that the way that you're phrasing that though is a little bit. I need to see way more specifics before I'm willing to go that far.
Well,
that's, just as a person, like I'm not.
When she moved on to the Attorney General
I
of
ain't
California,
trying to throw around Uncle Tom's unless I know for sure.
Oh, well, okay. Well, but when she moved on to the Attorney General for California, the prisons in California were ruled to be cruel and unusual punishment in and of themselves because there was overcrowding issue. And they were ordered to reduce the population. Well, she took up, instead of doing that and charging less people and convicting less people and lowering the number of people in prison overall, she petitioned and sued to make sure that that the prison population wouldn't have to be lowered, and during that case, argued that the state of California would lose a low-wage workforce if they were forced to empty out their prisons. So essentially, again, if you've seen the 13th Ava DuVernay documentary, is slavery illegal in the United States, Corey, based on the 13th Amendment?
Yeah, except for in prisons.
Right. It is not. The 13th Amendment does not make slavery illegal. It makes slavery or indentured servitude illegal, except for as punishment when convicted under the other parts of the Constitution. So, meaning with a right to an attorney, without having to testify against yourself, with the right to call witnesses, etc. If you have a fair trial and you're convicted, you can in fact be enslaved and forced to work. So, arguably, Kamala Harris continued to support the prison industrial complex and inside of it, the continued slavery.
Yeah.
So, and there's a bunch of cases where she just basically, if you were a progressive and you were given the job of being the Attorney General of California, a super progressive, super liberal state, where you could basically say, you know what, no, you're right, we should empty out the prisons. She chose not to, because all of her supporters came from a place where they didn't really want that to happen, right? So then she decided to run for U.S. Senate. U.S. Senate. And she stopped being a prosecutor. She stopped being the Attorney General. And when that happened, there was a short period where she was not working in any capacity as an attorney before she started her campaign. And a miraculous transformation happened where, boom, now she is the progressive that we all know and love. Essentially the midway to Bernie Democrat.
I wouldn't put her in that.
You don't think she is arguably, she is seen by the public to be very progressive?
I think she's seen as progressive because Dianne Feinstein's her colleague in the California delegation there. I mean, like, so, I'm sure O'Malley looked more progressive than Hillary did, but it's not like O'Malley was ever a progressive guy. It's just like, just because you're more progressive than the least progressive candidate we have. Like,
True. So in the end, though, she chose Martin Luther King Jr. Day to announce her candidacy for president, which a lot of people online, especially in the Black Lives Matter movement and similar movements to that, are saying is once again her co-opting her race, using her race to try and impress people to support her when her actions don't really say that.
I question whether or not I should talk about this.
Let's see the hot take. Hot take from the white man. What's up?
No, you remember when I was talking about Gavin Newsom and his sewn-on jacket when he was standing in the woods with Trump?
Yep.
Did you see Kamala's announcement video thing?
She was on ABC Good Morning America, right?
Well, no. She also released a video
I didn't see the video.
Sort of
honestly, as soon as I saw it, the only things and this is maybe my echo chamber, I saw two things. Which is weird to say a Twitter echo chamber, which echoes in two directions. One, we wouldn't vote for Hillary. Why do you think we'd vote for you? Which is a subtly racist thing that right-wing Twitter that I'm kind of in circles of said. Mm-hmm. The other side said, this is the truth about Kamala Harris. We were happy to have her as a senator, but do not put her up as the presidential candidate because Hillary will happen again, which I fully believe. I fully believe that if she becomes the candidate for the party, we will have another Hillary situation.
I just don't think she has the baggage of Hillary. That's the problem. I mean, that's really the big problem with Hillary was not the things she was saying or the things she was proposing, but more the fact that we knew for 30 years now that she has been willing to co-opt whatever position would get her in. So it's not like anything she was saying during the campaign was wrong or that, they weren't ideals that were met by most of the Democratic Party. The problem was that people had been burned so many times by the Clintons that she couldn't say anything and you go yeah, she means it this time. Because you were burned so many times by the bad things.
Does Kamala get the disenchanted Republican vote?
I don't know. I think she's quite winning. I think that anytime that I see her, mostly in opportunity, whenever she's what was it? The judicial. She's on judicial, so she was able to
the Kavanaugh interview.
Do the Kavanaugh,
the most watched C-SPAN video on Twitter,
and she's good. I mean, she
was a prosecutor.
Oh, I know, and you can tell. She's able to break down the time that she has into just the facts and get to it. And I don't want you.
Another thing, by the way, every opportunity she had to pursue an abuse, a negligent homicide, a homicide, any sort of case against a police officer, she never once pursued that case. So
I don't know. So the point I was trying to make though was that this video that she released sort of has this drumline thing going on in the background. It's not so much music; it's just sort of this
a second line.
What?
Like a second line, a New Orleans second line?
Yeah, it's just sort of it doesn't feel like a drum line kind of thing, but it just sort of feels like the same sort of the rhythm and musicality of a drum line.
Sure, yeah.
It sort of had that thing running throughout the entire video, and then I sort of got this sense of this is the low key version of let me touch the base a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be the candidate for everybody, but I got to show people that I'm black, so I got to do a little something.
Yeah.
To remind people, it's just you remember when in The Wire when Royce was running for re-election and he did the African colors as the subtle I'm with you. So everyone knows when they see the green and the red and the yellow that Royce is with the African American community.
Yeah.
It's there was somebody in the social media team who was creating this video was just well, we got to do a little something to remind people that she's black.
Drumline.
Just a little percussion thing.
Howard University.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. It just seems a little forced and
which is what we have to get ready for the next 2 years.
It seems like that type of thing. Every single video, there's going to be a video a week where there's going to be that little drum line going on. It's just
yeah.
Abortion is a problem in America.
I'm not looking forward to the next 2 years.
All these people trust in Planned Parenthood.
On the plus side, halfway there, intermission for the Trump administration. Today, was
Oh,
marked
today,
2
yeah.
years since the inauguration, 2 years until the next inauguration. So
Good.
hopefully intermission today.
Yeah.
But getting back to it, is Kamala on your podium for your top 3 candidates?
No, and I would say I might have put her in there before, but it would have just sort of been a blind pick because I don't really. I mean, the problem is with a lot of people who are or could be running is that I might not know as much about them as I would like to properly say that I would pick them to be my Julian Castro is running.
Yep.
He has a fine enough resume, but who the fuck knows anything about him? So all I have to base it off of is the half a dozen times that I've seen him on TV or something like that, and his announcement and just what other people are saying about him.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether or not he would be a good president. Probably not, because it takes a special kind to traditionally be president.
Also, not a lot of international experience.
Up until recently, it took a lot to be president.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I still feel like we should be aiming for a higher bar. So basically, my podium. I would like to give the bronze to Kristen Gillibrand.
Former Republican Kristen Gillibrand, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she has a space where she can. I'm pretty sure she's a veteran,
Yes.
if I remember correctly.
Yes, I
So
think
veteran, senator in New York, which is no small task, and she's been finding her niche on the more establishment side of the Democratic Party while still alleviating concerns of the progressive movement. And I think that if she were to get through the primary, she would prove to be a more formidable opponent to Trump because she's a little bit more fly by the seat than
Not a
Hillary.
soldier, attorney.
Who am I thinking about then?
You're thinking of Tulsi Gabbard, who was in a
No, that's not who I'm thinking about either. You know who I'm thinking about is Duckworth.
yes,
But she's not.
Duckworth.
She's. I'm not. I wouldn't pick her to run. But I don't know. I dig Gillibrand's.
she was a lawyer.
Yeah.
She graduated UCLA with a JD in Dartmouth.
Go Bruins!
So, only job she's ever had looks like being an attorney and then going into Congress. So, yeah. Anyway,
My silver, I will give to Beto. I don't like that he's got to run. I wish that there was some sort of way to not make him run, because I think he would be better off in 2024 than he would be in 2020.
yep.
But there's no stopping this train. So if he's going to be out there, then he might as well just go for it. And I don't think he gets a second chance if he doesn't do well this time. But I think he can find the again, much like Gillibrand, he finds a way to appease to both Republicans and Democrats in different ways, and is able to sort of bridge a divide between the moderate and progressive side of the Democratic Party.
Gillibrand's net worth in 2012, $120,000. What do you think Beto's net worth in 2012 was?
I don't know.
$7.5 million.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So I think that's interesting because I
Yeah.
would never have guessed that
Yeah,
he
I
was a
didn't-
millionaire, but apparently he's a small businessman, and part of that value is the web technology company he has, Stanton Street Technology.
Interesting. He probably has a patent or something like that. That got,
Probably so.
Yeah.
Damn, Ted Cruz only beat him by 200,000 votes. Yeah. Less than 2%
Yeah.
statewide.
But I mean, like, again, in Texas, that's a huge
Yeah.
deal. And if you're able to get the Democratic nomination in Texas, then, and believe it or not, Ted Cruz is more popular than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, if a Democrat could swing Texas, that would be a very difficult thing to come back from as a Republican candidate for president. And, it's not like one of the things that doesn't help Gillibrand necessarily is that a Democrat is going to win New York no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of whether or not, if you can pick off Texas, though, that would be a huge get. So my silver goes to Beto. My gold, and all of this is very tenuous, and I don't want to get into all the little details of how I don't like everybody in this field.
Donald Trump.
But my man, keep America great.
Yeah.
It's Cory Booker.
Oh.
And I'll say this. I think that Cory Booker has become a little bit of a cartoon character in the last couple years.
Yes.
But I do enjoy that I followed him for a while. I remember him when he was mayor of Newark. And it was Newark, right?
Yes.
Or Camden. City in
I
New
think it was
Jersey.
Newark. Yeah, I think it was Newark.
I know it's a city in New Jersey. And he did a lot of things that really turned Newark around, and including something that we've talked about in Baltimore, which is disbanding the police department and starting over.
Yep.
He made that kind of choice. So I like the fact that he is willing to do things that people don't necessarily think of, and that he's willing to try more interesting methods of getting what he wants. And I think at the end of the day, he's a personable guy that the more people get to see him in speeches and debates and like out on the trail and stuff like that, I think people will come around to him. I think that right now it's popular to shit on him while he's in the in between spot, you know.
Sure.
But I would I'd put my support behind him for now.
Okay. So you're going with Cory Booker
Yeah.
as your number one. Now, and discussion we had before the show.
And I know it's a Cory thing.
No, my discussion was, does Kamala and Cory, do they clash with each other as candidates? And
So
does she coming out first keep him out of the race in the long term?
So it's interesting. I was listening to the 538 podcast, and they were sort of they created some sort of metric to discuss the feasibility of Democratic primary contenders and stuff like that, and the parts of the party that you would need to reach in order to be the nominee. Mm-hmm. So obviously the sort of establishment Democrats are part of the Democratic Party. The progressives are part of the party. People of color are part of the party. Women are a big part of the party. And I can't remember the fifth thing that they had, but it was some other version of like the base of the Democratic Party. And I think that to naturally assume that, I mean, like, it's a fickle thing, because like you would think that Hillary wouldn't necessarily be where the black vote would go, but then it was in 2016. Bernie had a lot of trouble getting through to the African American community, and it sort of killed him at the end. But it was it's a delicate line here, because it's like you can't. It's not necessarily about like policies or doing things. It's about like what speaks to the most number of people, you know? Yeah. And that's always the hard, because it's not like you can just lay out 5 issues that make you compelling to the African American community, or if you were an African American, then automatically you're the lead of that. Yeah. Because, you know, like I'm sure that Beto is pretty popular amongst the African American community too. You know, he could pull out more votes in random states than Booker Harris could, and you know that's all for naught. So
yeah, and this will be the first year that the states are voting in their new order. California's coming early.
Yeah, California and Texas are both going to be on Super Tuesday.
Yeah, so
whereas California used to be the last state to vote,
right,
or one of the last states.
And I mean, again, so like you have the order can be everything. So like Kamala might not have had a chance if she was out of it before California came up. But California's early now. Beto might have been out of it because I think the Republicans used to vote early. The Democrats voted later, but now Texas is voting all of it together on the same day.
Yeah.
So Texas Democrats will be early. So maybe he stays in it when other people wouldn't have. And now somebody like
I mean, like I feel like
somebody from New York might have a lesser chance. Booker might have a lesser chance because it's New York and New Jersey are later in the cycle.
We're gonna have a lot of people, you know, put their name in the hat.
Yeah.
I think we're also going to get a lot of people eliminated pretty early on.
There's going to be a lot of Iowa drops. I
There's
think.
going to be a lot of Iowa dropouts, a lot of New Hampshire and South Carolinas.
Yeah.
I think by the time we hit South Carolina, we'll have a 4-5 person primary essentially going on.
Just like last time.
Well, last time it closed up quick. Like after Iowa, O'Malley was out, and so was Webb, and so was Lincoln Chafee.
Yep.
So it was only Bernie and
Wait, no,
Hillary at that point. But on the Republican side, it was
They didn't drop out until.
I mean,
It
we
wasn't
had
after
three.
Iowa.
We had three all the way to Ohio, and the Republican side.
Yeah, but the Lincoln Chafee dropped, but Webb and who was the other guy? O'Malley. Yeah, that's right.
O'Malley dropped out before they even had the announcements on Iowa.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember he said I'm not gonna I'm decided to suspend my campaign for president, and then minutes later Wolf Blitzer was just like,
1%.
all right, we have the things in from Iowa. O'Malley 0.5%. This is
See,
like,
I feel
this is
like-
probably why he decided.
I feel like Webb or somebody. I thought there was two people, maybe at least one was in later. Webb got the nod on VP because he had been in a little longer. I think that's where it was. But maybe
I'm
not.
pretty sure Webb and Chafee got out after the debate,
Maybe not.
after the first debate.
Yeah.
I don't think they even made it like
Yeah. Okay.
through Iowa, really.
Anyway, so
But I'm saying, like, we're gonna the first three states are gonna be tough, and it's gonna eliminate a lot of people. But I think that we're gonna end up with 4, 5, 6 people who are running into Super Tuesday in some sort of order, and
Yeah.
then we'll be able to really separate the contenders from the pretenders at that point. Because again, winning Texas, winning California, those are two of the most important states for sealing up the nomination.
yeah.
And both those will be
100
happening
100
early.
electoral votes between those two states.
Yeah.
So 48 in Texas, 54 in California. So if you win a majority there, you are well on your way.
Yeah.
Um,
And like I said, if the Republicans have felt very comfortable about having Texas in their column for a while now.
Yep.
If you have somebody, and Trump is not popular enough to just get by on the fact that he's a Republican.
Cruz
He-
may run again, and he might win in Texas this time.
And I'm not totally against the idea that somebody might decide to run on the Republican side and challenge Trump for the nomination.
It's funny you say that.
Because I imagine that sort of seems like the type of thing that Kasich might get involved in.
Well, I'm going to keep the camera. I took the camera just on you for your 3, but I'm going to leave it on the duel because I want to see your reaction to
Okay.
this. My number 3, bronze medal. The governor of Maryland.
Hogan.
Running at number 3. Because I think, much like my questions to you about Kamala and some of the other candidates, I think that there is a place in this race not for another Democrat, but for a Hogan Republican that will split the Republican Party, siphon off the Hillary Democrats, and will force the Democratic Party to pick a farther left candidate. I think you're going to get not a Kamala, but you're going to get an Elizabeth Warren, who's going to be a front runner on the left. Then a Hogan has a space in the middle to carve out conservative Democrats and old school Republicans who aren't going to vote for Trump.
So my problem with Hogan running right now in 2020 is that I feel like he's in a better position in 2024 when Trump will be out no matter what.
But
because
he will be 2 years out of any office at that point.
Yeah, but he can find something to do to keep his name.
Martin O'Malley
fresher.
would disagree with you.
Well,
That
Martin O'Malley
said he should have run while he was still governor.
Martin O'Malley is not the same case here. I think that have you ever? I already know the answer to this question, but I'm just going to ask it for the podcast audience. Have you ever been infatuated with somebody who was in a very bad relationship?
Yeah.
And then you said to yourself, you know what? As soon as she decides that she's going to dump this guy and become single, I'm going to come in looking like a bed of roses because
Yep.
I'm so untarnished.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario, I think, for Hogan. I think that Trump runs for re-election. I think that some people try and wrangle the nomination away from him. It will be unsuccessful. He's going to be the Republican nominee. Will. I mean, I'd put it 50-50 as to whether or not he wins again.
No, that's where
but-
you and I are. I'm not saying that Hogan wins the Republican nomination. because I do think that Trump can consolidate the party. I think that Hogan has the war chest after the last run in Maryland and the support from the old school Northeastern Republicans to mount a successful Republican
Third party.
independent third party. And I mean, what would you call it? I don't know, but I feel like there are people who are vocal Republicans who are saying, this is not my party. And if you get a Larry Hogan, who is classic GOP guy, fiscal conservative, socially liberal-ish, not too liberal, but like Christian, but Christian in a way that makes sense, I think he has success.
The reason why I think that would not work is because if you look at Republicans who go by where the wind's blowing, like McConnell is a legendary I'm going to go with the wind Republican. So when it's beneficial for him to be in Trump's pocket, he's in Trump's pocket. When it wouldn't be, he won't be anymore. And right now, everyone's staying very close to the line and staying in Trump's pocket, even though he's setting us up for failure.
Yeah.
And I think that Hogan can see that he would have a better chance of coming in looking like the moderate, real conservative. I mean, like
after 4 more years, but
so
the problem is
the problem I always had with talking about being a Republican in Maryland back then is that I would worry that I would say the word Republican out loud and then everyone would look at me and start thinking the worst just based off of what the rest of the party goes with, but not realizing that everyone has their own individual things and not every Republican is like pro-life or not every Republican is.
But I think we are at
this,
a point,
that, or the other. And I think that it would be Hogan looks best after the whole thing is burned to the ground.
But you are expecting that Trump wins in 2020. Because, and I don't think that's a certainty.
I'm saying it's 50-50. I think that Trump is going to be the nominee, though, for sure. I don't think anyone's wrangling that away from him.
If Hogan has to run in 2024 against an incumbent Kamala Harris or Cory Booker or Elizabeth Warren, he loses. He loses. Because
I don't agree.
He's going to have to move to the right to capture the party. He's at a place right now where he can stay who he is, capture votes from both sides, and then lock down the Wayne Gilchrist, I'm going to get elected. And I just think that if he waits, he's going to have to move right to stay with the party because the party after Trump will inevitably move left, but not left to where Hogan is. They're going to move left, but only back to where Mitch McConnell is.
I would love nothing more if Hogan ran because I've said it before. I think Hogan's my favorite politician currently out there. It's a very low bar to clear, but I think Hogan has it. And it's very tough for me to see how he would be able to. I feel like he has the opportunity that if he is, if say Trump wins re-election, Hogan still has 2 years in Maryland.
Yep.
And he's got 2 years where he can set himself up as the Republican foil to Trump.
Which
that whole time.
He's already done.
Oh, he has, but he hasn't
2 years.
gone. He hasn't gone as hard as he could because he doesn't want to raise the ire. I think in the last 2 years he has on his term, he would really ratchet it up as an opportunity to raise his profile and get out there. And
Are there term limits in Maryland?
yeah, I thought you had 2 terms, isn't it?
Yeah, he only has 2 terms. So he's done. He
Right,
just won re-election, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so so you're saying if he in 2
'Cause
years,
it's off year.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. So he would have 2 more years. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Okay. All right. So all that aside, I just want to clarify there's something that Corey just said. I don't like Hogan.
Because, I mean, 2022 would be when he would be out.
Yes.
And that would set him up fine for starting the listening tour and the setting up your presidential or like setting up your campaign people and your exploratory campaign and stuff.
Long time between January 2022 and January 2023. It's a long time, but you don't have a way to get into the public eye.
If I'm saying I trust that he has a plan for what he's going to do there.
If you can name me somebody who is out of the public eye that long and still put together a actual run for office.
Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney was governor of Massachusetts while he was running for president.
No, I'm talking about Mitt Romney now. He just won the Senate seat in Utah.
It's not president. He's a Mormon running in Utah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that he was out of the public spotlight for
Yeah, and
8
he's a
years
Mormon
there.
running. He's a nationally famous Mormon running in Utah. If I had you running in Killarney, I could probably get you elected. But he's a Mormon running in Utah.
Yeah.
That's different than running for national office. Now, he's smart enough, I think, that he's actually going to make a push for the White House, too. And what he wanted to do was get himself back in the public eye. He gets a Senate seat. That's 6 years. He's setting himself up for 2024. He's going to wait out Trump and then run after him. That's what his plan was, I think. But nonetheless, I don't like Hogan. I think Hogan is the worst of both parties. He is the worst, just the worst in general. But, oh man, what happened to the camera here? Got a little bump. Sorry, guys. But yeah, he's the worst. But I do think that he is playing a smart political move, which is I have set myself opposed to Trump on the Republican Party, and the Democrats are inevitably going to be doing something really stupid like nominating Elizabeth Warren for president. And when they do that, they'll alienate all the Republicans that they could have gotten. They'll alienate a lot of the Hillary Democrats, and those people will be looking for somebody. And are they going to go vote for Jill Stein? Or are they going to vote for, what's his name? The other guy? Stein?
Oh, are you talking about
The third party candidate?
Gary Johnson?
Gary Johnson?
Yeah.
Or are they going to vote for a Republican? Hogan.
I mean, I would have, but
Right.
I don't think. See, I think part of Hogan's problem right now is that he doesn't have a national profile, so he's got to take these years to build that.
I disagree with that. I think he has more of a national profile than you would know, because I think people in California know who he is, and have asked me about the governor of Maryland and about how he's being such a vocal Trump adversary. So if people in California who are Democrat, who are really liberal Democrats, are saying, what's the deal with this Republican who's talking about Trump? I think that there are Republicans in the South who are saying, that's the guy we really need. That's the old school Republican that we want. And with those guys comes money. That's really what it, and money is everything. Money buys you national attention. That's all you really need. So moving on to my silver podium spot.
Yes.
Some guy who he has two things going against him. One, his last name. Now, his last name is Buttigieg, which is easy to say if you know it's Buttigieg, but it's spelled Buddy Gig, which is not great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. You can agree with me.
Yeah.
It's not a great spelling.
It's a tough name.
Tough name. But Buttigieg is easy to say. He just
Once
has
you
to
say it enough times, yeah.
He has to get in front of you to say, here's how you pronounce my name.
Yeah.
And then you're good. Now, this gentleman is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. And he is a Democrat, but he's a young Democrat. He is the half measure of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, both in age, because I think he'll be 35 this year, which puts him in running for president. He also is socialist in ways that make sense, but not vocally, and he doesn't call it socialism. So that's the important thing.
Yeah.
And I think he is what you might call the future of the Democratic Party. He's moving back to the left, but not too far to the left. He's not a Hillary Democrat, which, I despise, the conservative Democrats. And more importantly, the thing that I don't like about Kamala Harris, the thing I don't like about Alexandria Cortez, the thing I don't like about a lot of Democrats is they don't really practice what they preach. And everything I've seen from this guy from South Bend is he literally is the guy he appears to be. He, by the way, also a Capricorn, birthday, 14th of January. Also like him because of that. But on top of that, on his birthday, there was a snowstorm in South Bend, Indiana. And what did he do? Did he take the day off? Did he go out? No. He went down to meet with the truck drivers, the guys who were clearing snow, and he went and met with people in the community. He made sure that the emergency shelters were open. He worked on his birthday, which, by the way, guarantee you Catherine Pugh would not do no matter what. Right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt real quick
Okay.
with a tweet I just got notified of. Giuliani tells New Yorker he's been through all the tapes, and that's how he knew BuzzFeed misreported. Pressed on what he meant by tapes, Giuliani said, "I shouldn't have said tapes." Pressed again, said, "I have listened to tapes, but none of them concerned this." So here's Giuliani again, just like, no, he couldn't have been possibly colluding with the Russians. He was too busy murdering people that day.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what did you say?
That's the future of the Republican
I shouldn't have said it. I've stepped in it now. Oh, Rudy, you really made a mess of this whole thing.
Okay, so
I'm ready for
Buttigieg,
your gold, though.
Pete Buttigieg, my silver candidate. Again, I don't think he has any chance of running. I think that he's a better choice. And you know what? Yeah, call this a hot take if you want, but here's what I'm going to say. I told people this today, and I stand by this. I am a progressive. And I do believe that it is time for us to have a female president of the United States. It is time for us to elect the best candidate, no matter what their gender, no matter what their race, no matter what their creed or their country of origin. Okay, maybe that was the last part because you have to be American to run for president.
Yeah.
But their family's country of origin.
Yeah,
let's say.
your ethnicity, I guess.
Ethnicity,
Yeah.
race and ethnicity aside, I think it's time for us to vote for the best candidate. But let's be realistic. What does the candidate look like who defeats Trump in 2020?
I don't think it's necessarily about what they look like. I think it's about how they because like
I'm just being realistic. I mean, I wish people would let's not be politically correct and let's just be realistic. How does someone get 370 electoral votes? How do they do that?
270.
270. How does somebody get 270 electoral votes? You got to win the big states.
Yeah.
You're going to have to win Texas. You're going to have to win California. You're probably going to have to win New York or Texas and California.
Well, I mean, like you got to take if things line up the way that they traditionally have, and Republicans take Texas and and California is for the Democrats, then you got to win some combination of swing states and keep the base of states that you're accustomed to. You have to have the industrialized Northeast. You have to have the Rust Belt. You have to have some combination of Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
The people that Hillary didn't go talk to, the people who voted for Trump, the people who are angry and maybe now disenfranchised, now disenchanted. As much as realistically, you need to have working class of both races, yes, but especially white. The fact that white women did not vote for Hillary is a big reason why she won, and working class white men didn't vote for Hillary. Despite the fact that a lot of them come from strongly Democratic strongholds because they were union, their fathers were union guys, but they didn't vote for Hillary. They voted for Trump. And let's be honest with ourselves, what does a candidate who beat Trump look like in 2020?
I honestly go back to I don't think it depends what they look like. I think it really depends on how, because if you looked in your crystal ball and you said I've just seen the DNC convention, Elizabeth Warren won.
Yep.
In my mind, as far as trying to see where my policies line up against Warren, I'm not upset about it.
But I'm not talking about you, though.
Hold on. I get it. I'm not upset about it, right? But what I'm going to say at that moment is she can't beat Trump.
Yes,
she will not do well in debates against Trump. She will not be able to sort of win that war against Trump, and then Trump will get reelected. So my point is, for a Booker type, Booker is the type of guy, it doesn't matter what he looks like. It's a matter of, I think he can go up there. I think he can go toe to toe with Trump and not. We talk about sexism in play with women candidates running for president and stuff like that. And while I agree it is certainly part of the problem, I also think that part of the problem in this election in particular, if you're trying to beat Trump, if that's the modus operandi, is that it's hard for a woman to look like that they're strong without going so far as to be seen as bitchy or something like that. That's always been this line that female politicians have had a trouble with. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is how the electorate responds to it.
Let me revamp the question. Who is the strongest? What does the strongest Democratic candidate look like in 2020?
I think it's Booker. I think it's.
If you think that the guys marching in Charlottesville are more likely to vote for Booker than they are to Trump, even if they don't agree with Trump,
they're never going to go from Trump. That's the problem. You got to eliminate those people from the potential of being
okay. So
Trump was able to win with 25% of the population voting for him.
That's not true.
It is. Half the people in this country voted.
Okay. Yes.
And half of the people who voted for Trump. So 25% of the population voted for Trump.
24.5%.
Yeah, I was rounding up, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the problem is not necessarily picking off people in that 25% because they're not going to leave. if you're in with Trump at this point, you're in with Trump. Part of the big problem with Hillary was that because she wasn't a dynamic candidate who made people excited, there were people who stayed home rather than deal with it because they thought Hillary's just going to win this thing. I don't need to do it. I'm sure if we could have said, hey, this is a lot closer than it seems, everyone needs to vote, then Hillary probably would have won because there was probably enough votes just in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania to overturn this thing a little bit, you know?
Well, I disagree with that. I think that people came out, they didn't come out in the numbers that they came out for Obama in 08, but the voter turnout, although lower than 2012, was not significantly lower than 2012. And voter, I'm not going to say intimidation, tactics to remove voters from the voter rolls are going to be a much bigger thing at play in 2020 than they were in 2016.
I will say the candidate who wins is the one who can make more people vote. But again, and I know that sounds like a stupid like you got to catch the ball in order to score the touchdown. I'm saying
you kick people off the voter rolls. What does that matter?
If 50% of people who of eligible voters in this country voted, right?
Yeah.
And we got the 25% with Trump, blah blah blah. If we can raise the number to 55% of eligible voters vote, and Trump stays with his 25%, then whoever gets the other 30% is going to win.
And I think
the math on that just adds up to perfectly for that.
As soon as it looks like that is the case, that there are more Democrats coming out, that Trump motivates the base to just turn out even higher.
No, but the base is only so big. That's the problem. Trump's ceiling is the election that he just had.
There is you and 537 and Nate Silver and everyone underestimate the level of racism that runs in this country. And if for a second someone who appears to neutral on its face thought that a black woman was about to be elected president, the South part of the country would literally shit its pants together and rush to the polls to vote for anyone else.
Okay, so that's people who weren't going to vote for a Democrat anyway.
That's not true, though.
Name one Democrat who could win Mississippi.
Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter.
A Democrat who could run conceivably this coming election.
Johnson. No, okay, so that's what I'm saying is we need to stop looking for candidates that we, the Democrats, would like and start looking for candidates that America, flyover country America, will vote for.
Okay.
That if you want to defeat Trump, you need to find your Jimmy Carter, your Bill Clinton. Find your red state Democrat, or, I mean, this is why I brought up Hogan, your blue state Republican, and run them so that they beat Trump, and then that lets you run who you want next time. Because for what it's worth, it serves a loss to those people, and the Republican Party will never run another Trump.
All right, so for your gold, you're just going to give it to Doug Jones because you've given up on anybody else doing it?
No.
I mean, like...
For my gold. I'm going to do an honorable mention also.
Okay.
Let's just reelect Trump.
It's like a fourth place finish. Let's just reelect Trump.
Yeah, kind of between gold and silver. Like, I'm not going to put him on the podium, but like reelect Trump because my number one choice, Mark Zuckerberg. And here's why. Because if there was somebody who would be worse at being a president, than Donald Trump, it would be Mark Zuckerberg.
This is not the way to go. It's not.
Because here's my thought. I said in 2016, yes, I support Donald Trump. Do you remember why I said we should all vote for Trump?
Because he would burn it all to the ground?
Because we'll get to the point where people will get so angry that they'll take to the streets and they'll take their government back.
Yeah.
Here we are 2 years in. Not a goddamn thing has happened. So apparently...
I told you that it wasn't going to happen,
You're a bunch of fucking cowards, and none of you are doing anything.
Just like all this sweet talk you do about guillotines, and I'm just like, listen.
No damn guillotine.
Listen. I'm behind you. I understand that you feel this way. I sometimes feel this way too. If everyone decided that they wanted to go march on Washington, I'd probably be there. But I'm not going to be the first person there. I'm not going to be part of the 5-person crowd waiting for the rest of the cavalry to come because I know they're not. You would be in the 5 people going like, oh man, I can't wait to guillotine some people. Where is everybody?
Yes, I absolutely would. But on top of that, The only person I can think who would...
Because if you're not part of a big enough crowd, then it is technically treason and technically could get arrested for it. If you're a part of a big enough crowd, it's no longer a problem that the police have to deal with. That's all I'm saying. And that's the time where I would happily get involved. But up until that moment, I'm not trying to overthrow the government until I'm pretty sure that I have some backup somewhere around me.
My point. The only person who would push further than Trump has would be Mark Zuckerberg. Imagine you give that fucking narcissist the White House.
That fucking narcissist.
Well, I mean, it's bad enough with Donald Trump, but he already thinks he's the king of his own country, the country that's digital called Facebook. We put him in the White House, and we just let him shut down civil liberties and spy on us all the time. And all of a sudden, Facebook locks you out if you say anything against Zuckerberg. And maybe you all will finally wake the fuck up and overthrow some government somewhere. But I mean, so gold medal goes to Mark Zuckerberg. Let's burn this motherfucker down.
I wasn't expecting that.
Or, honorable mention, does like Donald Trump again, because clearly you guys don't give a fuck. So
It's funny though. I was thinking about it, looking at all the cameras in the garage.
Yeah.
And I was saying to myself, like, because I was thinking about it in terms of like if someone tried to break into my car.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'd probably be able to get the video and be able to find the person, get, figure out some sort of way to get the charges pressed and everything like that. And it's like, it's weird how calm and reassured you feel about loads of cameras around when it benefits you. Mm-hmm. But then when it's just like, I'm walking down the street and there's cameras on every corner, you feel like, oh, it's Big Brother and I can't do it anymore,
Yeah, I feel the same way about the ones in the garage. But again, you said, oh, if my car got broken into, and I got hit by a car and I didn't call the police. So
yeah.
Different perspectives.
No. I was just saying.
Burn it all down.
I thought it was interesting as a thought experiment
Yes.
when I was looking at all the cameras, and I was just like, I feel good that if in case something happened, blah blah blah, and then it was just like, but I wouldn't deal with this if it was anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, so that was our presidential preview. I think that now that I'm thinking about it, I think we are nearly 12 months away from New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. Because New Hampshire does the primary, and they're always the first one. And I want to say it's late January where they do their little primary.
I believe you're right.
So we may be 12 months away from the first primary of the 2020 presidential race. So I guess we'll see what happens over the next... what I think we should do is come back in 3 months and see who's in the race, who's not.
After we've seen everybody who's going to announce is
they
announced.
gotta be in.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to be in 3 months, or else you're way behind.
Just as a question.
Yeah.
Not saying you should vote for him or anything like that. Just your feel on the situation.
Yes.
Garcetti, does he run or not?
I think who gets in the race, Kamala Harris makes it less, because I think it's the California problem.
Because he thinks if he's the only California person
Yes.
who's running, that perhaps he could win.
Booker has the same problem where it's like, when I'm running against somebody who is in California, and I might have gotten the vote from California, but now I got to split it with her. I think Garcetti has the same problem of thinking like, if I was the only person from California, I might have a better chance. But his appeal is largely California, and he'd be looking at the campaign as a way to raise national name recognition, and he's going to be shadowed by Kamala. So
He has an interesting place in the possible electorate, though, as being a Latino candidate.
yeah.
Or part Latino candidate. I mean, Castro is too, but Castro is not not like Garcetti is a realistic candidate either, but
Yeah.
I think I would probably, if we had to do a ranking of all 20 people who are eventually going to run for the Democratic nomination,
Yeah.
I'd probably put Garcetti ahead of Castro, but that's not saying much. They would probably still both be towards the bottom 5 of that.
I think if you put all of them on a stage,
Like I would vote for Jim Webb over Lincoln Chafee, but I really don't want to vote for either one of them.
and all other things being equal, if you put them all on a stage and forgot about where they were, who they were, or where they were from, or how much money they had, or any of those things, I think Garcetti, for what it's worth, carries himself very presidentially.
Yeah.
And if I saw him on stage, I would think president. I said the same thing about Marco Rubio last time, that when we saw him in the first debate, he went from that kind of like annoying kid brother that I see him as in Senate, and he looked very presidential in the debates.
Yeah.
That can make a big difference. If Garcetti gets on the stage and he's there with a bunch of schmoes who don't look like they could do the job, and he looks presidential, maybe it's worthwhile for people who are like, hey, I'm from Maryland, I have no idea who Eric Garcetti is, but who's this guy who looks like a little bit like a Hispanic JFK? Young, idealistic, got his thing going on, you know.
The other thing you should also remember, dear listener, is that there are a lot of offices where it's very difficult to run for president. So have we ever had a mayor
Run directly for president?
Yeah.
No.
And win?
And I've at my silver medalist is mayor of South Bend, Indiana.
Not even New York or
Not
Chicago.
New Yorker, not a major city. South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've had a senator too.
Oh, guys, Clinton was coming out of the State Department. She wasn't coming out of the senatorship. John Kerry, 2004.
Yeah, but he lost.
Yeah. One who won?
Yeah.
Governor.
What's the last senator to win?
Governor. Oh,
LBJ?
Obama. Obama was senator.
Oh, Obama, yes, he was.
But, I mean, all other things being equal, let's just say, other than him, before him was governor, before him was vice president, before him was governor, before him was governor,
Yeah.
before him was vice president, before him was... What was Nixon before he got elected? That's where we are, by the way. That's what I counted back to. We're now at Nixon.
Nixon ran for the governor of California, but lost after he lost to JFK. I think he
ran
was just
again for president?
I think he was just unemployed for that time period.
Yeah, and then ran again for president.
Yeah, and then
won?
ran again for president.
So never governor. So,
But he was a senator. He was senator last before he was.
Yes.
Uh,
I don't know if that's close enough in time to even count, though. So before that would have been John F. Kennedy, who was a senator.
no, he was the vice. Actually, he would have been vice president.
For who? Eisenhower, but that was before.
Yeah, but I'm saying he had House, Senate, vice president. So I mean, it's not like he was coming from the Senate. He was the vice president when he was running against JFK.
So there you go. So then JFK, Senate, Barack Obama, Senate.
Yeah.
Those are the last two winners who were not governors.
It's very tough. It's a lot of governors.
Well, I think being a governor too, Senate, you're thinking I got to be back for some votes, and it kind of interferes with you running. Governor is just like, I'm running my state.
Well, also there's votes when you're a congressman or a senator, so people can go back to, this controversial vote, like, oh, you voted for Kavanaugh, or whatever the case may be.
And Obama benefited from being a less than one-term senator, so very short voting record. Leading into running for president.
knowing that he was going to run for president, so
same with JFK too. Actually,
keep your shit together on these votes and make sure there's nothing that's going to haunt us.
Same with JFK.
Yeah,
I mean, didn't you think about who lost? Kerry.
Yeah, long history,
Senate voting record. Bob Dole.
Yeah,
long Senate voting record. Al Gore, who was vice president but before that senator, long voting record. McCain, long voting record. Mitt Romney. Governor, now senator. Dole, Clinton, Bush.
McCain wasn't governor, was he?
No, he was senator.
Yeah.
Senator, long voting record.
Yeah.
But then it was Romney after that.
Oh,
he was governor. And Bush ran against who in 88? Oh, Dukakis.
Yeah.
Governor.
Governor of New York.
Yeah. Massachusetts,
sorry. I was thinking of what's his face, who was running in that time too.
Bush?
Cuomo.
Bush? Who did Reagan run against in 84? Was that Dukakis?
Mondale?
Walter Mondale, governor of
Minnesota. No, he's senator from Minnesota, right?
Minnesota. Yeah. But again, longtime senator from the 50s to the 80s and then ran for president and lost.
So it would be easier if you were a short-term senator than a long-term.
Yeah. Either short-term senator or long-term governor. That's how you get yourself into the White House.
Because I feel like governors just it's harder to tie down them exactly to a position that they voted for.
Well, you're signing
and that
bills.
Makes it,
They sent me the bill. I signed it. It's the will of the people.
Or I tried to veto it. They gave me Kasich is going to deal with this with the heartbeat bill that was coming through Ohio, and he vetoed it because I think that he knew that they were going to overturn his veto. Mm-hmm. But he said to him, so, like, you know, I'm not gonna fucking sign this.
Yes. But I mean, that's the kind of thing where you can say, hey, he can tell his Republican people, I vetoed it because I knew they would override it. And
Yeah.
he tells the less conservative people, like, I vetoed it.
I had problems with this bill. I was hoping that my veto would send it back and be able to fix some of those problems.
Yeah.
But the will of the people is the will of the people, and I wasn't going to step in the way of that.
I mean, honestly, I think that might be the crack of it is that, one, you get more time to campaign. Two, your voting record's a little bit more wishy-washy about what you can do with it. Senate is really up-down votes.
Also, I mean, like, you know, again, prior to the world exploding in this last election, there was a lot of desire for somebody who had executive experience.
True. Yeah.
And when you're one of 100 as opposed to one of one, it's easier to say, like, oh, he ran the state of New York, so he could run the country, you know?
I mean, even Bob Dole, who was head of the Senate for, what, six years?
Well, I mean,
Right
like,
before he ran for
prior to
president.
running, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, even that, not enough
Yeah.
to be the majority leader of the Senate. So thank Mitch McConnell, stay out of the race.
Yeah.
That should be your message. That
God,
should be your message.
McConnell would be such an awful presidential candidate.
But also funny.
I'm
also
Mitch,
funny.
I'm Mitch McConnell, and I approve this message.
Anyway, so we'll check in 3 months and see who's actually in the race and see where we stand. I don't think any of my people will actually be in the race in 3 months, so that's good.
We'll check back in though, in somewhere around St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, although we are broadcasting live on Facebook right now, so Mark, if you hear this, I'm behind you, 100%. Go ahead and run.
All right. Well, you know what message I do support?
What's that?
OTheanthem.com. Corey to OTheanthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And you can find more of me at my website, CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com, at LegendCB5 on Twitter and Instagram, and Facebook.com/CoreyBakerFilm on the Facebook side. It will be a busy week of videos, hopefully, this week. I would like to wake up early tomorrow and knock out a bunch, including Oscar reactions, because the nominations are coming out tomorrow. So I'd like to do a little video about my thoughts on that. And there's going to be the review for Mary Queen of Scots on Thursday. And maybe I do a little review talking about this launch control, which caused so much trouble before we started. Just a little gear breakdown, but we'll see how much time I have tomorrow to shoot videos.
Hey, also a lot of Zelda between now and then. So that'll be fun.
Listen, when you got some downtime, when you're trying to figure out what you're writing, you gotta think it out a little bit. You know,
$19 Zelda?
That's a problem.
And of course, you can find more of me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you, sir. I should have keyed that up beforehand. There we go. So, yeah.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Arrivederci, suckers.
I got new shoes. Did I just show you my new shoes?
No.
They look exactly like my old shoes. Nobody noticed their work today.
I wonder why.
I don't know.